BizPro, that's how we roll. Using procurement, program, and control. As a small BizPro, that's how we grow. Using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, small businesses. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And Crystal, as of today, how many days do we have left for voting?
let me share. Hold on one second. Let me share the screen so we'll be all on the right page.
That's right.
We
Can't
will
afford to let
be
people forget this.
Yeah, we cannot. There you go. We are 38 days, 6 hours, 58 minutes, and 47 seconds. And I tell you, Gilbert, this has been a rough week this week with what went
Oh
down with
man,
Breonna Taylor,
that
and
that is awful. That is awful. So
that was
now they're saying the wall of a neighbor is more important, a white neighbor is more important than the life of a black woman who was shot maliciously.
yeah, the wall.
The wall, the wall is more important because the cop got indicted for shooting in the wall. You see what I'm saying? This is unbelievable, man. This is
It is
unbelievable.
it's like you it's like being in the twilight zone. It is just ridiculous how crazy this is. But yeah, that was a rough one. Um this
So
week has been quite challenging. Did you hear yesterday that he they were asking him was he going to leave the White House willingly and peacefully, and he said, I see you, Robin. We're glad to have you on. We'll bring you on in a second. He said that there will be no problems. We're going to throw out all the ballots and we're going to stay with what we have. And we're not going to upset anything. Basically saying, I'm not leaving. So, no, it's going to be peaceful.
he, he can't make that decision. He can't make that. That's not for him to decide. You know, and you know what really gets on my nerve, Crystal, is
What?
all of these other politicians, the judges, the courts, the newspaper, the publications, the media. They're buying into this crap instead of telling him what the law is and what's going to happen. Why are they even acquiescing to the crap that he's talking? I mean, that should be a non-starter conversation. You see what I mean?
It should. It should. In fact, you should say, will you just shut up?
Yeah.
Will you just shut up? None of
and,
that's
and,
happening.
and just tell him that we're going to ignore him. Because the more people talk about it, the more he feels important, like he's got a point and a
Right.
valid point to discuss.
Exactly. So, but he thinking, he's already in the dictator mode, and he
Yeah.
decides I'm going to add the ninth justice, and they're going to make sure that they call who's going to be the president, and we're going to stay with the state with the sitting president. I say everybody in America storm the White House, pull him out by his blonde hair, and dump him out in the street like trash.
you mean his orange hair?
His orange hair, pull him out by his orange hair, and throw him out in the street like trash.
Well,
We're
it's
done
gonna
with you.
happen. It's gonna happen soon. It's gonna happen. It's only a matter of time. You know. You know
With
they
38
said.
days out.
They say you don't mess with a mad black woman. Just get enough of them angry enough, and you'll see it will happen.
Well, yeah,
It
we're gonna
will.
all storm the White House and be ready to kick him out like we would do. I told my sister, I said, this is like being in a bad relationship. Every time you come home, this man that you want to go away will not go away. So then
He's
you got to
sitting
get
on
your
your couch.
girls.
He's
And
sitting up on your couch, eating your food, watching your TV.
so then you got to call your girls and like, okay, look, I can't take no more. We got to get rid of this man.
We can't take this man anymore. We gotta poison him. We gotta put a little poison in his food. Get rid of
Gotta do some drive-by. We gotta catch him. We gotta catch him in something so I have the upper hand. But we gotta get rid of him.
And that's exactly what it's like. He's like a bad boyfriend who is an antagonist, a bully who thinks that, his word is bond and, nobody else's word mean anything. It's crazy. And then on top of that, he's an ignoramus. He's an ignoramus. You're going, this guy's not even smart. He's trying to tell me what to do.
Right. So Tuesday with the debate is going to be quite interesting because I'm sure Biden can run rings around him.
I'm
Um,
I'm sure he can, but I'm just a little bothered by the passiveness of the Democrats. That they're not even, you know, they need to rough him up, man. Let him know, put some stuff out there, put some mud, some dirt out there, because there's a lot of things he's doing. They need to talk about. I sent you a WhatsApp video about Congresswoman Tlaib
uh-huh.
in
I didn't
Minnesota.
get a chance to see it. I saw you send it to
Oh,
me, but
oh man, she roughed up that postmaster
excuse
general.
me.
That postmaster general, she roughed him up, man. He couldn't say anything. She told him he's incompetent and he needs to resign. That's the kind of thing I want to see out
Yeah,
there.
that's what we. Yeah. Now I did hear. Yeah, this morning I saw that Lindsey Graham is saying people hate my guts. I do.
Gee, I wonder why.
I think I'm finished. They hate my guts. Really?
I wonder why. And see, a lot of these bankers, man, they're following in the same footstep of that orangutan, and it's just unbelievable because a lot of the crap that they're saying in private and in public are the same things that all of those guys talk about when they go on their little yacht retreat, or they strategize as to how they're going to keep us redlined into certain zone. So
Right.
when we talk about that today, with our special guest, I just can't wait for us to explore certain areas.
Oh
Because
yeah, we
I,
go. That's going to be a good conversation because they don't know that and the kick off our conversation is there is not a black child, there's not a black person in America that has not heard these words, and those words are black workers or black people. We got to be 10, 15, 20 times better in
yeah,
talent, in
yeah,
everything that we do. We
hmm,
have to enter, and we got to be twice as smart, we got to be twice as good, and twice as dependable, and twice as talented. There is
hmm,
not a black person in America whose
yeah,
parents, whether they were good, trifling, whatever the heck, whether
yeah,
their parents, their grandparents, their minister, their professors, we have all heard that advice from the day we took our first breath. They
yeah,
most of our parents was probably telling it when we were in the womb, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so they don't know that no, you're doing this. It don't have
yeah,
anything to do with us being inferior because we are not inferior. We have been taught
right,
better, and that's what we're
exactly,
going to talk about is just dismissing that myth. And
yeah,
so it's just the whole thing, the apology, and we're going to talk about that. Our guest today, Miss Robin Billups, she's been behind the curtain, as she calls it, and
right,
so she's. We're going to talk about that, and I did some research as well, so we know what we're good at doing. Heck,
yeah.
this country wouldn't be built if we weren't good at what we did.
Well,
They
they
wouldn't have
claim,
been able to do what we did. What this country is based upon the backs and the work and the skill and the brains of us as black people in order to build what we have here. This was nothing. This was a wasteland. There was nothing here. The
and
Indians roam wild.
and even though we're more talented, we're stronger, we're capable, and all of those things, they still feel like they can't find a qualified pool of us to put in certain positions. So I wonder what type
Yeah,
of
right.
positions they're looking for and what type of pool are they looking at.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
they're not. That's what we're going. But it's insane. I mean, even and I think they think we're stupid because even with Breonna Taylor. Now, why would you do a $12 million settlement if somebody wasn't in the wrong,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Why did you give them $12 million if they were in the wrong? If they were
right.
the ones that were accusing the attacking the police? No, that's
Yeah,
not what happened. You didn't give up that money because for nothing. But
yeah.
how do you go into a grand jury indictment and come out with nothing?
It's a
That's
part.
insane.
It's a part of their systematic foolery. That's what they do. And they do it over and over and over again. And people don't challenge them on these things. So it just slips by. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's very true. And, and then they go out and find and I think I posted this morning. I think there must have been a DNA strain. The same Africans that sold their brethrens to the white slavers,
Yeah.
those must be that must be the DNA behind the Clarence Thomases, the Kanye Wests, this guy who was his name, the one that the
The
AG,
the attorney general.
the Colonel General who's married to the granddaughter or niece
Yeah.
of McConnell. So
Yeah.
that must be the same strain of DNA that's
Yeah.
running through the Uncle Toms and Uncle Janes and Aunt Janes. That must be them because what the heck?
Yeah. Yeah. We call them snitches, man. Snitches. That's what they are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That has to be the same. When we're looking for our DNA, our African brothers and sisters in
Yeah.
Africa from the
Yeah.
diaspora.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not from that tribe, but
Yeah.
it had to be that
They're from the snitch tribe. That's what they're from.
Oh
but
Lord,
but but
Candace is saying it's been.
but
Candace
those go
says,
ahead.
"There
Go
you
ahead.
two are. It's been too long since I've seen you guys."
Ah, hey, thank you for tuning in, Candace. It's been a while. Thank you so much for we miss you guys. No, we're trying to work on a phone system so you guys can call us and you can talk to us, okay?
Right, but you can chat. Tell all your friends to come on and chat. Snitches to get stitches. That's
Yeah.
what Candy says. Alfred said hello as well. Alfred Foster said, "Hey, bro,
Hey,
Gilbert."
hey, Alfred. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We really appreciate your support, all of you guys. And please don't forget to go to YouTube and click on our subscribe button because we want to show relevance of this show to the issues out there in the community. So please go to YouTube and click on the subscribe button on the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert.
Right. That way you get notification every Friday when we go live. And we want to hear from you guys. So thank you coming for popping in with us, Candace, and also you, Alfred, and all our other listeners out there. Come on in. You guys can talk. We want you to talk today. We'll be sharing. But yeah, it's been a wild, crazy week. I tell you,
Yeah,
I know we leading up to the election, and it's only gonna get worse. I think he's
yeah,
probably gonna be doing everything. He's trying to keep him going to jail, and I
yeah,
guess if I'm gonna give him a little bit,
yeah,
tiny bit of sympathy. If I
yeah.
was on the way to jail on the other side of the White House coming out, I guess I would be hanging on with my fingernails too,
Yeah, well,
because I think that's where we are.
I have no sympathy for him because he's made the life of us miserably. Ever since that Central Park Five that he tried to send to prison, falsely when they didn't do anything, they didn't rape a white woman, and he keeps pushing and
Right.
pushing. And even though the courts found that they were not guilty, then he keeps saying, well, if they're not guilty, they should still go to prison because they must have done something wrong in the past. I mean, that guy's just atrocious. So
He's atrocious. He
I
really,
have
really,
no,
really is atrocious.
I have no sympathy for him.
We got 38 days, so we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him out. I saw this morning that they're over in. It was, I think, in, was it in Kentucky? It was somewhere in the South. And this is the most that they have ever had. They have over 1 million people already requesting their
Their ballots.
mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
But I did hear that the Klan protesters are going to camp out at the polling places to prevent you from going in.
See,
Um,
that's illegal though. That's illegal. They
of
can't
course,
do
it's
that.
illegal. Everything they're doing is illegal. Everything.
I think they're supposed to be what, like 1,000 yards away from a polling station. Like I
Yes.
see some of these polling stations where people are there with, with jerseys rooting for the party that they're trying to promote, or the person, the candidate. That you can't do that. That's illegal. That's written in law. It's written. They can't do
Right.
that kind of stuff. So somebody, that's why I'm saying, man, Biden and his people,
But
they need to
you know,
step
they trying
up.
to change. They make their own laws.
Huh?
I
What
agree.
is,
I agree.
what,
Well,
yeah.
let's get this conversation going on. I'm pretty excited because I think this is just a conversation that we have to have. It's very, very important um, that we understand what is going on in corporate America, as well as our businesses. We get it on another side. We get it when we try to go for loans and so forth. But from the inside, but when you have a conversation, one of the news articles this week was with Wells Fargo Bank. The president, the CEO, made a comment that there is a limited pool of black talent, so therefore that's why we don't see them in the ranks of bankers, and we know what's going on. So we're going to bring on our guest. I'm going to pop her in right now. She's been in the waiting room there. Hello, how are you?
Hey, Miss Robin Billups, how
There
are
you
you? Welcome to the Business Zone. Can you
let's
hear us?
let's see. Have to
Unmute
unmute your
yourself.
mic.
I'll go ahead and unmute yourself.
Woo, there
There
you go.
you go. There you
Look
go.
at
There
me.
you go.
Welcome to the Business Zone.
Okay, you guys, I have swimming. So today I'm not looking corporate because I just got out of my swimming class.
That's fine with
But
us.
I'm excited
Oh,
about
that's
the
okay. It's
opportunity.
all right.
I'm really, really excited about the opportunity to have this conversation. The two of you guys have been more than direct and informative, and I think that success comes from educating.
That's
Right?
right.
If
That's
we
right.
don't chase the money, chase the skill, chase
Right.
the insight, chase the information, and thank you for creating these platforms where we can have these conversations and we can share and we can coalesce because we need each other.
Thank you.
We're getting beat up on every side, and
Thank you.
I'm happy. It works really really well for me because at the end
Yes.
of the day, we got these stripes on our back, and we're
Hmm.
still moving. We're still
Oh
moving.
yeah. Oh yeah. We
And
got to
one
be.
thing, when I was listening to you guys early, I wrote down we got a squatter in the White House.
And we got to evict him. We got to
He's
evict
gonna
him.
be evicted in due time because at the end of the day, really what it is called self-implosion, right?
Yes.
All of these things that have happened in the last 2 weeks,
Right.
especially, have been self-implosion. He is creating an issue for himself, and so
Yes.
again, we have to pay
Right.
attention, we have to
See,
listen, we have to support each other.
See, I want to put this out there, Robin. I want to put this out. For those of you who are just tuning in and just listening, this is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4, and we talk about business, economics, and anything that having to impact small businesses. Okay, so Miss Robin Billups, before we have her introduce herself and say all this, I just want to add this right there, okay? I just want to add this. Now, one of the things that I recognize is that this guy been talking all this smack, right? What he doesn't understand is that criminals, when criminals are plotting, they're plotting and plotting, but they don't understand that their plan always has a weakness. There's always one or two things in their plan that's going to go wrong. Always. and
Guaranteed.
and that's gonna be to their demise. So he think he's got everything all sewn up and all wrapped up. Just give him the rest of the next 40 to 60 days, and you're going to see everything come to fruition.
Very true. Very true.
Exactly.
You see,
So I,
what
Exactly.
you mean for naught, the Lord will
So we're
use it
gonna
for
kick
your
off this
good.
conversation. Yes, it definitely will. So we're going to kick off this. Miss Robin, can you tell everybody who you are? For
yes,
Greg Sneed says, talking about the talent pool, she is the pool.
that's right.
We're
You
going to
guys,
lead in with that.
it's amazing to me. It truly is. It's not amazing to me that this individual has made this kind of comment when I know easily 20 to 25 people at Wells Fargo
Yeah,
who are well more than qualified and deserving to be elevated, right?
yeah,
So you're
yeah.
not even farming in your own farm that the people that you're paying, you're not even using those individuals. But myself, I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I've been here over 40 years. I came here looking for a job in public relations, could not buy that job.
Mhm.
Qualified, interviewed 4 or 5 different times, ended up as a management trainee in the savings and loan industry. And that's how I fell into banking. And once
Mm.
I went through the training program, when I got to the lending piece of it, I found my niche. It gave me the storytelling piece as a journalist. I like things to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Every deal has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has the relationship building piece that I like. It has the people contact that I like. And so I spent 26 years doing commercial real estate construction financing, really starting out in single family credit cards, lines of credit. And I was sharing with somebody the other day, you guys have made me really reflect about a little bit about my background. I had formal training in 1978 as a management trainee. I've never
Mm.
been sent to banking school. Every time it was time for me to become an SVP, the criteria changed. I was a vice president at 27 years old. I'm 65. And so I'm
Mm-mm-mm.
out of banking because, I saw the writing on the wall and it was an opportunity for me to take my talent someplace else
Right.
because my mom did a great job on her kids about understanding the value of who you are, getting an education and being exposed and being able to walk boldly into a situation even when you're not wanted, but to be able to be there, hold your head up and speak loudly and clearly and tell the truth. And so I fell into banking in the savings and loan industry, and everything moved towards the banking industry. And then I ended up in commercial real estate at a time when women were not allowed to be in commercial real estate. So I became a junior loan officer at Sears Savings Bank. Someone took a chance on me. Became a junior loan officer at Sears Savings Bank in commercial real estate, and that's how I got into the commercial real estate game. I literally took a pay cut and a title cut in order to be able to get into the commercial real estate space. And from there, very, very successful. I'm a deal junkie. I still love real estate. I think real estate is king. Real estate is how you build wealth. And so, again, my mission in life has always been to impart information so that people understand what their options are. I don't need to tell you what to do. I need to show you what your options are and make it plain for you to understand what it is. I just was on a call with one of my favorite retail managers, Peter Jackson from City National Bank. I love this young man because he
I do.
understands. He told me to tell you hello, Crystal.
Hey, Peter.
He understands relationship building, that banking is not a transactional process. It's
Right.
relationship building. And what
Yeah.
tends to happen, we've been sold on the transaction piece. Let me
Yeah.
just go in there and deposit my money. Don't talk to anybody. Oh, I talked
Yeah.
to the branch manager. Well, talking to the branch manager, that dog stopped hunting about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Roles in these banks have changed. And
Hmm.
it's incumbent upon us, the folks who've been behind the curtain, it's
Right.
incumbent upon us to help folks understand that these roles have changed and how to operate within the banking system now.
Well, I want to send you guys a video link that I was reviewing today from CBS with what's her name? Gail whatever her name is.
Hmm.
So
Oprah's
yeah, yeah. So
sidekick.
they've done some research and I just want to go over some of that with you guys a little bit. Okay. So three of the banks, the usual suspects,
I never heard of that.
they've settled discrimination settlements over the last 10 years to today. Wells Fargo, $175 million. Bank of America, $335 million in settlements,
Mhm.
and Chase is 55 million. And those are just the big ones that they mention. There are many others in that loop of usual suspects who discriminate against us when it comes to mortgages, when it comes to lending for small business and those types of things. And I'm sure, Robin, you know about this. They talk about redlining. Redlining is what they do to exclude us. So they look at our zip codes, they look at where many black people live, they draw a red line on their maps to say, all the people who live within this red line, we're not going to give them loans. We're not going to give them lines of credit. So we'll give it to the other folks. And as a result of that, this is some of the results that we got. Okay, I'm going to explain something to you. So home ownership, 44% are granted to Black Americans. 44% in comparison to 73.7% granted to whites. Again, 44% of blacks, they're awarded home ownership as opposed to 73.7% in whites. So those are some of the things that you have experienced, Robin, in the industry, and you're trying to change it, but they're not listening to you because they're deaf, and they're deaf on purpose. They're purposefully deaf. It's unbelievable. So what do you say about that, Robin?
Well, as a lender, the lender is the representative of the client they're the liaison for the internal processes, and they're the liaison for the external. So that's the client making a request and the company needing to make a loan. And to your point, yes, redlining has been around a very long time, but a lot of times, you got two sides to this story. Some people come to work to get a check. They're not going to raise their hand. They're not going to add to the conversation because they're concerned about their check. Right. Then you got folks like me. Excuse me, I have a question. I'm going to ask 85 questions. And if you can't answer it, it's okay. I'm going to say to you, you know what? We're not connecting. Is there someone else I can speak to? And so what happens is we tend to walk away disappointed because we didn't ask the right questions, or we're not prepared to ask the right questions. There's been a lot, the CDFIs are out there. There's a lot of resources out there that we tend to not tap into. And reading is fundamental. Now that we have these platforms like what you guys are creating, we can have more conversation around it. But historically, there's been written document and information and processes that we could have read up on in order to better prepare ourselves to be a relationship client versus a transactional client. Right. We've lived in our house in England over 40 years. And whenever we've not done a refinance, the appraiser comes from Orange County. Right. So you got somebody coming from Orange County who's never been in Inglewood before other than seeing it on the map. And now they're going to adjudicate the value. And I always pull comps. I always say, I want to see the comps that you're looking at. I want to look at those comparable properties. What's compared to my house? Have they done any improvements on their house? Is their lot as big as mine? Do they have as many bedrooms and bathrooms and that type of thing like that? So I think that it's incumbent upon us to access these resources. There certainly are qualified, talented individuals out there for any subject. And as you guys said early on, Black people have always had to be better. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So that's all the more reason why I can't let you adjudicate over your opinionation about me. It's not even an opinion. You got an opinionation about me, and that's your opinion. But I know who I am, and I know whose I am. And so it makes it real easy for me to walk away and say, let me talk to somebody else. And so to your point, the larger banks are the ones that are being put in the paper, but it's across banking. It's across the financial services industry. Insurance is included in there as well. And so, yes, the hurdles are there. I love track and field, and I love the hurdle piece of track and field, especially because if you can if you can make that move to get over those hurdles, you can get to your goal.
That's right. Yeah. And the thing about this that we also want to share with our audience is that they have the right when you're doing an appraisal on your house and the bank send you one of their little token people, you have the right to refuse that person. Correct. You don't have to accept Mary Jane or Johnny Blue who's coming from
Karen.
Orange County, Karen.
Carrots.
You don't
He's
have
gonna
to
kill me.
you don't have to accept Karen or Todd
Right.
because they're coming from Orange County or somewhere far away who don't even have a clue about your community, about the value of
Correct.
your. So you can reject them and you can ask
Correct.
for someone who understand your community. So I just want to put that out there,
Well,
Crystal.
and it's
Go ahead.
critically important too that even if the answer is no, understand why are they saying no? Why
Yeah,
did they cut the loan back? Why?
yeah,
Help me understand that, and then I can swallow that. But if
yeah.
it's not making common sense to me, who else can I talk to about it? I mean,
Right,
it's just as simple as that.
right. And why does my home worth 40% less than the white person across the street? I want to know that. And the
Literally.
house is the same value. The same, I
Yeah.
mean, the same attributes about the house. So I
Yeah.
want to know that too, Crystal.
And I think, and this is very vitally important as well. So we all know that Wells Fargo, what last year or the year before, opening up fake bank accounts
Yeah,
for people in our community and in various communities.
yeah,
And in that, there are a number of Black executives that were fired, or at least to put the blame on that it was them that, as the managers that created that, when we all know that that was coming from the top. So don't talk about you can't find Black talent.
right.
And as a friend of mine said on Facebook, he said, "No, you can't find a Black talent that will lie and be corrupt.
That's it. That is it. That's
That's
it.
what you can't
That
find."
is it. That's it. And part of that is, I literally have said to someone who called me one day, and I said, "Excuse me, I could tell by the tone of your voice there's a problem, but you can't talk to me like that." Well, Robin, I said, "No, excuse me. I can tell by the tone of your voice. I already knew it was negative. I can tell
Yeah,
by the tone of your voice, but you're not going to talk to me like I'm an inhuman individual and that I'm
right,
not a professional. And so let
right.
me stop you right now. Let me
Yeah.
stop you right now. Start over." And when he started over, excuse me. And so part of it is holding up who we are. When we
Yeah.
think about whose shoulders we've stood on, and this idea of my vote don't count. Well, if your
Yeah.
vote didn't count, you wouldn't be here.
If we got
Somebody's vote
if
counted,
if
right?
we got to work 2 and 3 times harder, they better put some respect on our name.
There you go. There you
Right.
go. Well, and plus too, it's this thing of helping our folks to understand that you deserve the quality of service that anyone else does. You
Exactly,
deserve
and that's all we want. That's
professionalism.
all we want.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
all we want.
Yeah.
We're not asking for anything special. We
Yeah.
we haven't even started asking for reparation yet. They keep pissing us off. Then we're gonna start demanding reparation.
And, yeah, we asking right now. We're gonna start demanding. we asking right now and being polite about it, but and just the fact that, come on, guys, you're pushing us into a corner because we are basically, and here's the thing: if we weren't the peaceful people that we are,
Yeah,
this right here would have been already dealt with. Right
yeah,
out of
Yeah.
slavery, we would
yeah,
have dealt with this.
yeah,
As soon as, and especially once we started acquiring and accumulating wealth in our own right, Black Wall Street, they
yeah.
could have easily said, okay, in the underlining strategy, Greg Sneed said, "Let's go and send the invoice right now, and then start the collection process afterwards."
Put it in the
Which
queue.
opened it.
Put it in the queue, okay?
Put it in the queue with a 30 days to pay.
You guys think about it from this perspective, though. If one of the things that I wrote on my LinkedIn page early, it might have been yesterday, someone announced that they had an internship program that was coming up. As I said before, I started out my career in a management training program, right? So if these companies want to course correct, why wouldn't you go back to internship programs and management training programs in order to build your own bench? Since you're not trusting anybody, since you don't know anybody Black that you could ask, can you refer somebody? then why
Right.
don't you build a bench, build a bench of your own? And then that way you can
Exactly.
cherry pick from that bench and put them on whatever trajectory that you want them to be on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so,
Mm-hmm.
so instead of, a settlement for one individual, yes, that
Right.
individual deserves their settlement, but then let's put some meat on the bone so that there's a path towards that success, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And if
Exactly.
you felt that there was a limited pool of talent, then all the universities have black people in them. Every university out there has black people. Then you go to the MBA program, you go to the business and finance programs, and I want, and you just start that pipeline with their HR departments, right? We want the best talent that you have, and cycle them through. We want them to intern for us. We want to create a pathway for them
Correct.
to come in to become management trainees and then move them over into the executive pool. So that's how, and it's been a long time since I've worked for corporate America, but when you came in with a pathway for a career. You wouldn't
Correct.
just come, even if you came in as a teller. And I have a lot of friends, and it's ironic, Robin, because on the Thursday business briefing that we do, everybody that for the last 30 weeks have come from the financial pool.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
Pretty much
Right.
all of our
yeah,
guests, and not a repeat of any guests.
yes,
These are all new people
yes.
for the last 30 weeks. So, but if you truly wanted to make a difference, then reach out to all the schools, and this is your pipeline. We want to make sure that we're reaching out, and started when they first start college, when they're first year, let them know that there's a program with any of the banks, any of the financial institutions, the Googles, the wherever, and say, hey, we want you guys to be grooming these individuals to bring them through our pipeline, and this is the plan for them. But that's not what's happening.
And plus too, though, as you're speaking about that, we start resume in the fifth grade, because we're teaching kids how to narrate their success. So if your parents were on some board and you used to fill out the envelopes, and you were volunteering with that organization, you spoke at church, you put that on your resume. So we when you were talking, all I was saying is, why can't we start in elementary school? Why can't the elementary, like in the old days, the elementary
Yeah.
school goes on a trip to the bank, and
Yeah.
then they see the bank in process, and they see
Yeah.
what's available there. And
Yeah.
then by the time you get to the fifth, sixth, seventh grade,
Yeah.
now those individuals can do some volunteering if the bank is doing something with Habitat for Humanity or some of
Right.
these other organizations. And then
Right.
by the time you get to high school, yes, that's where you're going to really, really do the job shadowing and the internships. And then now when they go to college, they are ready for the fellowship. They're ready for the management training program. There's some steps that can be taken. It's just that America decided we're going to take a shortcut. We're going to use and abuse.
Yeah.
Let
That's
me use you up
Exactly.
and kick you out.
that's a part of their programmatic approach, and just like Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said,
Yes.
she said that this system is a law enforced, racist, and segregated system.
Question.
This was done on purpose. This wasn't an
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah.
And in order to make it work, they have to make it law enforced. So
Yeah.
you have law enforcement implementing those racist systems, all of those systems. Because if you look at every category, Robin and Crystal, if you look at every category, you got law enforcement monitoring, you got community, economic resources, you've got schools, you've got the banking, you've got entrepreneurship. Everything you can think of is law enforced, systematically designed to impose their racist belief and values on us. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No
So
question.
that's why we got to break away from this thing. We got to do our Black Wall Street approach. And like I was saying to Crystal before, we've been doing this over and over, and we've been stumbling because each time we establish a network, they come in, they either burn it down, they shoot us, they kill us, they do whatever, right? But
But we made progress.
we gotta keep, yeah, we made progress, but we gotta still going,
Yeah.
because this started back between 1865 and 1876. You remember when they claimed the Emancipation
1619. I mean,
Proclamation? You
1619.
remember?
I'm
Yeah.
saying 1619. Just bring it all forward.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. So,
Yeah,
so,
she's actually, yeah, it is 1619.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So, so,
think about it. Think about it. When Kamala Harris was selected, and AKA is getting all this notoriety. One of the original founders of AKA was from St. Louis, which is
yeah,
my hometown.
yeah,
She went to Sumner High School, which was the first high school built west of the Mississippi for Black students.
yeah.
She graduated in 1904, AP honor student, and went to Howard University and found out there was nothing for women to plug into. So the
Hmm.
whole women's suffragette that we just celebrated,
Yeah.
where were the Black women that was
Mm-hmm.
there?
That's
You
what
know what
I'm
I'm
talking
saying?
about.
Why were they not acknowledged? You can't tell me that Ethel Hedgeman Lyles was not actively engaged, because
I,
she was. I've
I know,
read her history,
She was.
and a
So
lot of those
we have a
ideas came from Black
tendency,
women.
yeah, there is this tendency to take to, what do they say, usurp our ideas, our
Yeah,
thoughts, our plans. and
yeah,
and you know what, and that's okay. It's
yeah,
okay, because when you keep taking, we keep coming up with something,
yeah. Oh, yeah,
and that's what I hope that we as Black people remember. We are the surviving race.
yeah,
We're the reason why there's life in the world, because
yeah,
a Black woman nursed these folks. They could
yeah,
have killed them, they could have poisoned them, they could have done anything. We could have sabotaged some of these banks, we could have did what anything heinous. But Crystal,
yeah,
to your point, that's just not the nature of who we are. And
That's
so
not
we've
the
been
nature of who
painted,
we
we've
are.
been painted with this brush, but
yeah,
we don't have to accept that. And then my one final point is, this next generation behind us, these young people, I am so excited about the fact that they've seen too much. They've seen their parents work hard, build up wealth, and put them through school, and then lose everything. So
yeah,
they've seen too much, and they've seen that it's been built on mistreating people, and
yeah.
especially mistreating people of color. And so
And
I think globally now, folks are awake.
yeah,
Folks are looking at the talent that Black folks have brought to humanity, and
hmm,
we are starting to coalesce and have these conversations, and keep it moving, and keep it moving.
and also with
Exactly.
the mistreatment comes lies,
Yeah,
lies and betrayal. So I just want to throw
yeah,
that in. Go ahead,
yeah.
Crystal.
And Robin, we all believe one of the solutions, and you and I have had this conversation, is us coming together. Not just Black people, but brown people, the minorities, all coming together to
Correct.
make a change. I went in researching for this show today. One of the things that I did look at is, how are immigrants that are coming from other countries, how are they embraced? They come in on their visas to work here in this country, but they are able to assimilate in and rise to high levels of executive roles in the um in the pool. Now, a lot of them don't even speak the language, and
Yeah,
we've been educated here. And so the pathway between an immigrant coming in from another country and those of us that were born right here and going to school here, it's it's so distinctive that you see the that they don't want you to be part of that inclusion. They
yeah.
really
No,
truly don't.
no,
Because if you have a pathway for immigrants, then you should have a pathway for Black folks, right?
now
Your neighbors. Correct.
are you talking about Black immigrants or the light skinned immigrants?
Well, any immigrant that's coming from any country. Well, actually, I would even think that if you were African, gone to school in England or in the UK, and then migrated to the US, you're probably getting better treatment than we are.
So as an immigrant, I'm gonna give you my perception of that. So
Okay.
just like the Willie Lynch, you remember the Willie Lynch letter, right?
Hmm.
where
Yes.
where they come up with these strategies, how they're going to separate us. They're going to have us call each other ugly, so we can
Right.
start separating each other that way. We're going to start snitching on each other. That's their
Hmm.
strategy, right? So they do the same thing with immigrants. When we come here, here's what they tell us. They said, you're not like the rest. You're not
Right.
like the Black Americans. You're different. And then they start treating
Mm.
you that way. You see what I'm saying? And the ones who are weak in the mind, they will believe that, and then start snitching on their fellow black Americans. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
But if you're smart enough, you know that's their strategy because they'll never embrace us. Never.
Right.
The ones that they're, and that's why I asked Crystal if it's a light skin one or the black skin one, because what they'll do, they'll embrace the light skin one, the ones that are closer to whiteness,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they call classification. When I was in grad school, we did what we call classification, where they look at groups of people and classify them based on skin color, privilege, and power. So anything closest to whiteness tends to have the privilege card. But when you get the privilege card, you get access to power. So those are at the top of the upside down pyramid. Then
Mm-hmm.
those would be the white Americans. Then the second in line would be the Europeans who come here, like from Czechoslovakia, Russia, those people, right?
Mm-hmm. The blocks. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then the ones underneath that will be Asians. And then the ones underneath that will be Latinos. Then the ones underneath that will be Native Americans. And then the one at the bottom of that is the blacks. Because of this, the darker you are, the closer you are to the bottom. So that's how they do it. So when the immigrants come here, that's the same strategy they use. But some who are not smart enough, they buy into, oh, you're different than them. You're not like the regular Americans. And when they're with their friends or in a meeting, he's not like the regular black.
It's true.
Because that's what they say.
It
That's
is
what they
true.
say about me. He's not like the regular black. He's from Jamaica. It's different.
Wow.
So if I buy into that philosophy, then I will start becoming their little snitch and start talking bad, about black people and start giving them the information they need so they can shut us all down. You see what I'm saying? No, we got to
Mm.
be smarter. We got to be smarter.
We have to be smarter, and we also have to link. We have to be lockstep with people who are like-minded, right?
Yeah,
You know,
yes,
Yeah.
when people always ask you, when they ask you those questions about who are your heroes. You know, my hero is Thurgood Marshall.
yeah,
My hero is a Mandela. I celebrate the same birthday as Mandela. And then
yeah,
there's Mr. Katzenberg, who actually funded the first historically black colleges, right?
yeah,
And so
yeah,
there have been people who don't look like us, who have a
yeah,
moral compass that says, I'm not looking at you because of the color of your skin. I'm looking at you because of the quality of your character.
yeah, yeah,
And so I think that I have this thing about not looking in the rear view mirror.
yeah,
We cannot continue to look. We got to dump the wagon of all
yeah,
of this stuff that upsets us and keeps us from moving forward. And
yeah.
we look in the rear view mirror. Yes, you look. You
Right,
don't look in the rear view mirror. You learn from the rear view mirror, but you have to
right,
keep looking forward. And so
right.
as I said earlier, I think these young people, I think there's people in, our generations and others, there
Yeah,
are folks out here who are very much willing to move this thing forward and willing
yeah.
to take the stripes on their back, because we're going to get stripes. We're
Oh
going
yeah,
to have
oh
to
yeah.
get those stripes in order
Right.
for it to happen. But sweat equity is well worth it. Is well worth it.
So Alfred Foster said, "Thank you, my brother. Much love. I appreciate it, Alfred. Thank you so much. I'm one of those people who speak truth
Eh,
to power, man. I gotta tell the truth. I cannot be a fake, so I
Yeah.
gotta tell it like it is. Now, I want to ask Crystal, you and Robin. I want to
And,
ask
and
you
Ken
guys.
Hicks says,
What did he say?
Ken
Oh,
Hicks
Ken.
says, keep
Hey,
it 100.
hey, hey, much respect, Ken. Much respect, man. I appreciate love it, my brother. I appreciate love it. So I want to ask Crystal and Robin. I,
And
I,
actually, Alfred,
I was going to ask you, Crystal, uh,
ahead.
based on what you and Robin know, how many black-owned banks are out there right now that we can go to, invest our money in, try to open an account, and try to see if we can get, financial support from them? Do you know of any?
Well, with this
They're
merger,
actually, well,
with the merger just that
I'm
just
sorry, they're
happened.
actually 26.
26 banks?
There are actually 26 black banks, but One United actually, when you look on the map, there's 102. But of that is that One United has multiple internet banks, but One United also doesn't really provide all the services that you need, and nor does Broadway Federal. But what Robin was getting ready to say, and you can go ahead, Robin, and talk about the merger, because I believe that's going to address the power that we need.
Well, you know, it's all about capital, right? You know, you can only offer all of those services if you have the capital. And I think people tend to forget, when I put my money in the bank's job is to make my money work, right? Yeah. So the bank, whatever bank you're putting your money in, should be able to, as Crystal's point, should be able to provide you with the services that you need as a client. So because we're in a global community, in a global market now. Let's look at it from the standpoint of who's servicing the marketplace, who's servicing our community, versus it has to be a black bank. I like that idea, but at the end of the day, because things are changing and moving and becoming electronic, we have to coalesce with the 58% here in the state of California. 58% of the population is Hispanic. You know, they have melanin in their skin, and they, just like us, they range from dark to light. And so again, I'm concerned about just focusing on a black bank and not necessarily understanding how to select a bank, right? There's some credit unions out here that are majority owned, but these credit unions are focused on their membership. So you'll get better services from a credit union to that point, depending on what your needs are. I just was, like I said before, I was just on a call with City National Bank, a Royal Bank of Canada now, and he was telling me a magnificent story, Crystal, we'd like to be able to talk to you about for the briefing about a relationship that they've built with Greg Doolan, and how he's walked him through a process to the point that the SBA and the bank has just recently funded a big loan for them, and they're going to be able to do some expansion. And so again, I think that when we're talking about banking, let's continue to talk about how to build a financial services relationship versus a bank. Does that make sense? You know, what are we looking for out of these? One of the theme of this new workshop that I want to do is called Building Foundational Relationships for Emerging Wealth. Yeah. How do we build? What do we need to, what are the questions we need to be asking? What are the services that we're looking for? And well, like we talked earlier, what do you do about an appraisal? What do you do about when is it the right time to refinance? How do I, the beautiful thing about redlining, let me just be very honest with you. We still got equity in our property because they redline.
Well, that is true. That is true to an extent though, Robin, because we do have equity, but the equity is not at the level that it should be because they're devaluing it 40%. So the equity is still there. You know, go ahead.
Well, here again, you know, I like I said, I live in 90302, and everybody's talking about gentrification, and certainly I was in North Inglewood, and now it's called La Tijera Village. Yeah, because some other people moved into the neighborhood, you know. Right. So again, I think let's make our mission to educate and give people the narration that they need to talk to the financial services industry, not just the banks, the credit unions, the insurance companies, the bonding companies, all of these pieces and parts that people need as an entrepreneur and as a personal individual moving forward, you know. And I think that will help us.
How do you think we can go about that, Robin? If we're going to talk to the industry, do we have like a summit and invite the lenders? Is that how we would go about it, maybe?
I think that there are a lot of talented Black people
in the pool
who have the background that we need, right? Who can talk about the retail side of the bank. Who can talk about the retail side of the bank? That's the savings and checking and treasury management services and all of those services that are available. Then you got the lending side of the bank. Then you got the compliance side of the bank. I came out of lending. I have a background in procurement and supplier diversity. You know, there are all of these pieces and parts that are out there. So I think we just kind of need to put together a little schedule, and we can bring in these talented Black folks.
Yeah. I do think we should really do that, and
who are subject matter experts.
Yes, yes.
You know.
I do think we should do that, and sooner than later, because right now everyone is scrambling in all different types of direction. So if someone with your expertise can kind of help to galvanize some of the talented the talented
people.
The talent.
And I had this conversation yesterday. We just talked about this just yesterday. That there is a vast number of individuals out here. MRSA, is that how you say her name, Crystal?
Yeah, MRSA
that we had earlier. Emily, who just came from iBank. There are just people out here who want to educate. Who they got some compliance issues that they need to meet too.
Yeah.
They got some regulatory compliance issues that they need to meet. And that's the other part.
Those are some key areas that we need to explore as well, because we've been looking at the other side, and the compliance part is even more mandatory that we're not looking at.
That's an open door. It's an open door. It's an automatic. I literally, when I started doing my consulting, I said, I'm only going to focus on regulated businesses.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I can go get sick the government on you.
Yeah.
Well, that was the old government. I don't know, but at once November rolls around, we'll know what kind of government we really have left.
Right now we're in the twilight zone.
But I think that we can, you guys, what you guys do in the platform that you provide, I think that we can put together a curriculum that folks can follow, and some resource. And you guys are wonderful about identifying resources, and then all we ask the audience to do is to read. Read. Read so that you ask questions. And as I said to Emily the other day, I love people who understand that when they're speaking their acronyms for their industry, they need to break it all the way down to As Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, says, you got to break it down. You got to put it where the goats can get it.
Yeah. I love it.
Alfred says that he ready to make it. He said, we've been making it thunder. Let's make it rain.
I love it, Alfred. I'm right there with you. Go Trojans.
I love it, man. I love it.
He said he is ready. He's ready to sign up. But he also had said earlier in a comment that, take it. And I think this is something you just said, Robin, about going global. When you look at white America, their money is not just in America.
Oh, no.
Their money is
here.
It's not here. So that's what Alfred was saying.
They have their play money here. Their real money is in the marketplace.
Yeah.
In the global marketplace. Their play money is here.
And guess what? What I learned recently is that those types of folks who are the big money earners, they don't use their revenue. They don't claim their revenues on their taxes. They claim the investments, because when you claim the investments, you're claiming at least 30 to 40% less on your taxes than you would revenue. So all of us are claiming revenues. They're claiming investments. So we got to learn that game too.
Yeah,
we got to learn that game.
So Alfred says putting money in Ghana banks and Bermuda and Belize, because money is convertible, and when we move over to a digital currency, it's going to be quite interesting from the American bank, the big four. What's going to happen? Because when we start converting to a digital platform, we have no purpose for you.
Right.
Well,
and you can move your money.
Well, to your point, they've built this system, and the system has been antiquated, right?
Yeah.
Some years ago, I think it was Capital One that created this little cafe thing. I remember I was in a supplier diversity meeting about 10 years ago, and Capital One started moving to this, serving coffee and having one-on-one meetings with whoever you want to meet in the bank. And now everybody and their moms having to do that, right? You can't go to the bank, kind of thing. So I think the timing is right. And again, it's a self-implosion. When you build something for a limited number of people, it's going to get antiquated anyway. It's going to become obsolete. And that's what has happened. It has become obsolete. And the idea, think about it, the idea that you can't find talented Black people in America that build America, you can't find talented Black people.
just
It blew my
just
mind. It really
just
blew.
Right.
just remember that everything that these folks do, and I'll just classify them as these folks, right? It's purposeful. It's
Pilgrims, as I
always
hear.
huh? What do you say, Crystal?
Pilgrims.
Yeah, pilgrims. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything that these pilgrims do, it's purposeful. It's a strategy and it's
yeah,
designed for their own benefit. So all those banking system that they came up with, that was in their favor, not in our favor. So,
correct.
I see Ken Hitz saying he's getting a belly laugh out of what we're saying. but but but
Yeah.
but but one of the things that I really am concerned about, because when I work with my small businesses and I'm coaching and I'm grooming them, I'm doing everything else to build their back office and all of that, but the financial piece is missing. So we want to build them. And based on what Robin just said, that we can have these summits with these other folks and get them understanding what the community and small businesses are looking for, so they can put together those programs. So once we get them ready, we can send those small businesses over as a transition. When you leave high school, you go to college, and
Yeah.
then you leave college, you work on your master's or your PhD. That's how we want this to work with small businesses.
Yeah.
We get them ready, and then we send them over to another level to help grow their business. That's how
Well,
I.
and Gilbert, to your point, with this consulting that I've been doing since 2017, and I think for me, I've always been a consultant. I've always tried to share information, but you know what? And this is why I talked to Crystal about it's you have to implement. You
Yes.
can't say I don't have time. You
Yes.
have to find time for professional development. You have
Yes.
to find time for personal development. You have
Hmm.
to allocate that time.
Hmm.
You have to allocate dedicated time. So if there's going to be a community briefing every Thursday from 11 to 12 o'clock to bring you some information that you can use immediately, why don't you have that time allocated on your calendar?
Exactly.
Don't
Exactly.
don't say I heard about. No, what you should be saying, I was on there and I invited 8 more people to come next week. That's
Yes.
the thing. So, if we can tell somebody about the latest shoes that are out and purses and nails and hair and blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Let's do that same thing about around education and around financial and around spiritual, because those are the things that have kept us here
Yeah.
sane. We
Yeah.
might be a little crazy every now and then, but
and for
that's what has kept us sane. Being educated and maintaining our spiritual
Yeah.
life and staying connected to each other. So, I'm blessed to have met the two of you and know that we're like-minded. It was
exactly.
automatic. It was automatic.
Oh
My
yeah.
son said to me, Mom, you got to meet this guy, Gilbert. And I'm like, I know Gilbert. I know him. And, it's what I call this is good trouble, right?
Yes,
This is
exactly. This is good
necessary
trouble.
trouble, right? You
This is
know,
necessary trouble.
and
And
so
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
when we look at who the Lord has called home,
Yes.
we're standing on their shoulders and we owe
Yes.
it to them.
Exactly.
We
Exactly.
owe it to a notorious RBG.
Yes. Yes.
We
Yes.
owe it to
Yeah.
John Lewis. We owe it to these individuals who have laid their life. We owe it to Gail Sayers. We owe
Yes.
it to these folks who
Yes.
have stood the test of time
Yes.
and
They
passed the baton on.
they went out and did a lot of the heavy lifting
Yeah,
to get us on their shoulders. So
yeah,
yeah, definitely. Now, for
yeah.
those of you who are just
Yeah.
listening
So
or
that
just
you're
tuning in,
absolutely
go ahead, Crystal. Go ahead. Go ahead, Crystal.
no. Finish.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
no. Go ahead.
I was gonna
Do the
say,
call
for
out.
those of you who are just tuning in, this is the Business Zone. You may have been watching and you may have been listening, and you hear this great, amazing information being disseminated here on this program. This program is called the Business Zone, and it's here live every Friday from 3 to 4, and every Thursday from 11 to 12. My co-host Crystal Mitchell, she runs a community briefing program which does some of this same thing, but she even steps it up a little bit more. She steps up her game some more. So you guys can tune in Thursdays at 11 and on Friday from 3 to 4 on the Business Zone. You can go to your Facebook account and you can tune into the Business Zone, or you can go to YouTube. Go ahead, Crystal.
There you go. And we may have a surprise for you on the briefings for the future that you guys will absolutely love. We'll be solidifying that later on because it's going to be off the chain. But it's about bringing, and Robin is absolutely right. The more information, the more knowledge, the more tools that we have a better strategy of getting ourselves and moving ourselves to a pace of thriving and not being dependent on the pilgrims for our success and for our living. And Veronica just said that for years, Wells Fargo and other institutions have used our Black brain drain to build their wealth. So now we need to start building their wealth, and we need to take ours, and we need to be creative. And there's some amazing things. Yes, Michelle, put the Thursday, Friday on your schedule. That's the best 2 days of the week.
That's right.
But there's some amazing things happening, and we need to wake up. We got the merger of two Black banks that's going to increase their reserves. We have Akon building a cryptocurrency platform that's right now worth over $1 billion. In January, there is going to be it's called the Dream Exchange. It's going to be a Black stock market, and it's coming out of Chicago. And I've been watching every week them talk about that. So we are ready to go. And as Alfred said, we ready to make it rain. We done the thunder. We gonna leave these other people behind once we get past this election here, and we are ready to go. We ready to put our Speedo shoes on, become the boat, Usain Bolt, just boat on out of here, and we can live wherever we want. We can stay here, or we can just fly away and take all our cash with us. Fly away.
I love it. I love it. The three of us cannot be in the same place at the same time. We're too dangerous. We're too dangerous together.
That these trying times have opened up opportunity, right?
Oh, for sure.
Historically, for sure. I said to someone earlier today that every decade there's a shift. So we're in this decade time period. We got a pandemic going on. We've had to slow down. We've had to pay attention. We've had to coalesce with each other. The curtain has been pulled back.
Yeah.
And we found out some folks ain't got their bloomers on. Okay. And now they've showed themselves for who they are, even though we've known who they are. The world sees who they are. And I don't think that the world is ready for us all to become a human family, if you will, at every level, Yes. So I'm excited. I have grandchildren, and I have nieces and nephews, my village, my family village, my people, you guys. Yeah. If we all keep pushing forward, we will do the Lord's work, and we will keep the rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. And so, hey, Michelle. Michelle's been on every Thursday. I've hadn't had a chance to talk to her, but she's been very, very supportive on the Thursday briefing.
Thank you, Michelle Morbell. We appreciate your kind words. So another thing I want to throw out before we sign off here.
So you guys going over?
I think small businesses, we need to team up, at least two of us. We need to team up and go after projects. We don't want to do things on our own anymore. We got to team up. We got to build our capacity. We got to make things better. If you're a concrete person, if you're a concrete contractor, team up with an electrical contractor, team up with, a roofer or drywall or something, so that you guys can go after contracts and obtain a larger contract award instead of a smaller amount that would have been out there. So that will help us as well. Crystal?
Well, you know, to your point, when I was doing supplier diversity, and I still am very active in that, what I tell people all the time is you're trying to do business with a big entity, right? So
Yes.
you're really, you're just trying to get in the supply chain.
Yes.
So everybody wants to be the prime, but are you ready to carry the load that the prime has to carry? So if you
Exactly.
can be the tier three supplier getting your check
Yeah.
before the project is finished because you're the tier three supplier, then
Yeah.
just get in the queue. Your
Yeah.
mission is to get in the queue. And
Yeah.
and when you're saying that you want to be tier one, do you really know what that looks like? Because
And
now,
do you know what responsibilities come with that?
well, here again, think about it, Gilbert. It used to be you didn't have to have, but now you have to have
Yeah.
cybersecurity. You have to have
Mm-hmm.
a sustainability agreement. You have to have
Mm-hmm.
a safety plan. Now you got
Yeah.
to have a COVID plan to go with that safety plan.
Yes.
Forget about the other stuff, the bonding, the license, the insurance, the
Yes.
certification, and all of that. And
Yeah.
so I 1000% agree with you
Right.
that capacity and scalability is the only way to sustain a business. And then
Yes.
secondarily, stop trying to start a business and go buy something that's existing.
Right.
Buy an
Right.
existing business. The infrastructure is
Exactly.
already there. You know,
Right.
I said to a young lady in Chicago that I've been coaching, she wanted to get into this psychiatry stuff. And I said, you know what, why don't you just go work part-time
Yeah.
for someone else so you can see the whole play out? And then
Yes.
that way, you know, when you start your business, how much infrastructure you have to have versus
Mm-hmm.
what you want.
Yeah.
Because we have these global desires, but at the end of the day, do you really need all of that in order to run your business, right?
Exactly.
So this assessment that can go on, and this support that can go on, and the opportunities are there.
Oh, for
They
sure.
truly are there. But
Yeah.
understanding again, procurement, just like banking, just like
Yeah.
anything else, is a relationship process.
Yes.
You don't want, like you said a few minutes ago, you don't want to be just transactional. You don't just want to
No.
get a contract. You want a
No.
relationship that has
Yeah.
some tenure on that contract. And how do you do
Exactly.
that? You got to be ready.
Right. Right. And Robin, go if you don't mind, go ahead and tell the audience where you're going to be next. If you're going to have a workshop, or how they can contact you, phone number, email, that type of thing, and the name of your business.
The name of my company is called the Billups Group, and I created an umbrella company because my family has a lot of different skills, and we're running into a lot of folks who want to work with us. I'm very, very simple. Find me on LinkedIn, Robin Billups. Find me on LinkedIn. You can read my background. You can connect with me there. My number 310-493-9956, 310-493-9956. My email is rmbillups@outlook.com. And so generally, I always send people to LinkedIn because that's the professional space. And if you're willing to connect with me there, then that means that you're willing to get on a calendar. I operate from calendar specifically. I need a meeting notice. My emails always say provide optional dates and times that fit your schedule, and I'll send you a meeting notice. Because again, if you, as Crystal said earlier, we talk about this all the time. We have to be more strategic about everything that we do.
Yes.
Everything that we do. We
And
have to be more strategic.
we got to formalize things too, because one of the things with many small businesses, we're not taken seriously. They see us as fledgling. They
Yeah.
think we're going to be here today and gone tomorrow. And that's why we need to understand the process of being so formal. And that's why with my system, SmallBizPro, that I use, I help to get these businesses formalized. You have a structure, you have a back office. That means anything they ask you for,
Yeah.
you have it. You
Yeah.
have it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to put your information on here, Robin, so the audience can have access to it. And we want to thank you so much. Crystal, did you want to add some other things to it?
I just want to add that I have a workshop coming up. It's called the Reinvent Your Business Model. COVID has made some changes in the way and the things that we do, and some of our businesses will never function the way they did before February 2020. So in 2021, you need to be ready, or actually now building up for 2021, a new platform, and to create multiple streams of revenues, and to know exactly who are your what are all the components that it takes to make your business successful and to survive, but more importantly, to thrive. So it's September 30th, which is next Wednesday. Please sign up. I am introducing a young lady that I just met. She was an angel sent down from heaven for me. She's going to create, she is a e-course or online course technician and designer. So she's going to be designing my e-course, and I have all the content. So she's going to plug all that content into a course and into modules, and then I'm going to now become automated. So you guys want to sign up for this? You can go to any Facebook page that I have, the Business Zone, Recycling Black Dollars, Mitchell Business Solutions, and you will find this flyer there. Sign up today, because you really want to talk to this lady. If you have content and you're a subject matter expert, the future is moving us to doing business globally, and the best way to do globally is to have courses that are online that you can sell to everybody on the planet Earth. and you can be asleep while you make money. And so sign up for September 30th. It's called Reinvent Your Business Model. Reach out to me at 323-447-7272 if you want the flyer sent directly to you. And that's what we have going on right now.
Okay, well,
and so Gilbert, that's all I have. We've been we've a little bit over. Thank you, Robin.
So for me, Crystal, I have a class coming up on October 13th, and this class is with the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce. It's an Access to Capital class. It's a virtual class, and what we're going to do is to show them how to become loan ready. So with my patent pending system called SmallBizPro, we're going to show small businesses, one, let them understand ratios. We're also going to help them to understand what financial documents they need, the 3 financial documents that all small businesses need. And it's an amazing class. This is a series. So this is class number 4, and it's hosted by the LA Latino Chamber. And it's sponsored by I think Wells Fargo. so
You're making amends. You're trying to make amends. This is a great. Now we're trying to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah. So, exactly. So
I do have a share. I have one other share.
Yeah,
I was just selected by the Global Mentoring Initiative, and I'm going to be mentoring a college student in South Africa.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. She's 22 years old. She's about to graduate, and I signed up for it. And again, just trying to give back, and again, trying to create that global community. Truly trying to create that global community. Yeah.
And that's what we got to do. We got to, it takes a village. It takes a village.
It takes a village. That's awesome. We want to thank you, Robin, as usual. Girl, I just love you. You just you bring it home. You fit right on. As I told you, when I told you on the briefings, over here you can be real candid.
That's right. See,
I was still trying to make nice because I had a few other choice things to say, but I'm near my God to do.
But it's been an honor and to have you on to talk about this. And I think we just have to keep having these conversations that there is not a limit on Black talent. It is overabundant if you're looking for us. We're actually hiding in plain sight. Just take a look at us and ask us some questions, and you'll find out how brilliant we really are. But at the same time, embrace our brilliance and I don't know if I'm about inclusion,
compensate us for our brilliance.
Compensate us. And as Greg said early on, we're ready to send the invoice. If not, we're going to send the invoice, and then right behind that, we're going to send the collection agent. So we want to thank you guys all. Thank you for everyone that has left messages in the chat. Go over to Facebook and also YouTube and see these great messages and chats and input and great information actually in the chat room. This video is live, so you can go over to YouTube right now and check it out. But while you're over there, make sure you subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you all next week.
Crystal, how many days we got left?
Oh, you want me to put you want me to close the calendar?
How many days we got left?
We have
to change
let me
this
share.
thing.
We have 38 days and 5 hours, 40 minutes and 22 seconds, 21 now. Make sure you are registered to vote. Make sure you get your census information in. The deadline is September 30th. That is Wednesday. Please get that in, because while we're talking about all this, we still do live in America, and we need to make sure that funding opportunities and everything that the census does for us to make funds and access to capital available to us, that's where that happens. So make sure you go over to your census, to the census website, and sign up and put your information. It only takes a few minutes. But most importantly, on November 3rd, I heard something this morning. Two things that I heard that was absolutely fantastic. I wear a mask so I can vote on November 3rd. I wear a mask so people won't confuse me with a Trump supporter. So mask up.
I love that. I love that.
Ballot too. Every name on that ballot counts. Every name, every section on that ballot counts. Not just the presidential election.
That's funny. That's
everything
funny.
counts. Our voice counts. And here's my last little tidbit before we sign off. If our voices and our votes didn't count, they wouldn't be picking up mailboxes and locking down mailboxes.
That's right.
Very true.
That's
Shutting
right.
down polling places and all of that. If it didn't count, you're
right. They wouldn't be doing that. If your vote didn't count.
Yeah.
Well, we went a little over our time today, but it was certainly worth it. And Robin, thank you. You are welcome here anytime. As a matter of fact, we're giving you the key to the business zone. You can come here whenever you want.
This is wonderful, guys. I really appreciate it. Again, we have a work to do, and we're willing to do the work. No question about it. Yeah.
We're ready to go.
All right, take care now. Love you guys.
All right.
Okay.
All righty. Let us sign on out.
Don't hang up yet, Robin. We need.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
All